Oh, it's Mr. McFeely.
I have seen the future, and he was wearing number 5, and I ain't talking about Robbie Grimsley, folks.
Took out the muffins, took out the trail mix, took out the cookies. They stole the monster cookies.
Wow, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Let's do some broadcasting.
All right, we'll do some broadcasting with our guy, Mike McFeely, joining us, who got a few messages that, boy, Mike's probably smiling he missed out on going to Terre Haute this past weekend.
Well, it seemed like a good week. My family had a little get-together.
Yeah.
And it was Indiana State. And so when I looked at the schedule at the start of the year and I knew this was going to be a family thing out at my sister's lake place out northeast of Brainerd, I went, what a good Saturday to take off because it ain't going to matter. Not going to be nothing to write about. And the next thing I know, it's just an absolute disastrous blank show that's happening in Terre Haute.
Yep.
And I'm going, oh, well. No, I'm still glad I didn't go. I might be gladder now that I didn't go than I was before. But what an adventure that was.
That was something, man. Between the Jackson Dutenheffer incident, then obviously the rain, thunder, and lightning. Like I mentioned at the start of the show yesterday, evidently there's no meteorologists that they consult in Terre Haute because everybody around the area had moved the game. And they decided to just plow ahead playing at 1 o'clock local time.
I rewatched the game last night, okay? And I was texting you on some of the stuff I was seeing. I'll admit, I skipped over. Did you guys have to keep live TV going? Because at some point, I assume you broke out the top hats and canes and we're doing some kind of.
Kyle was getting cabin fever. He had to get out of the booth.
You guys are going to start singing Dean Martin maudlin songs.
Thankfully, we didn't have to. We went to ABC Pro. Our friends in radio though did because of all their affiliates across North Dakota and Minnesota. Sam and Phil Hansen were.
Okay, I'll see Sam today at the.
They were on the entire time. Yep.
Here's a little number.
They were replaying interviews from earlier in the week. I was giving them a hard. Hey, we're going to go back to fall camp and start playing some interviews from August.
What a nightmare! So, my gosh! Here's a little Sammy Cohen tune that Bing Crosby made famous in 1943.
Yeah, I got a message.
Sam Niederman singing.
Depending on your perspective, this is either the best or worst time for McFeely to miss a trip. So.
From my perspective, it was the best. Yes, it was the greatest. Yes, I was thoroughly enjoying myself.
It was a deal. I'll just say that. And then, as Polisic said, when the second half started, it was like they came out, for a little league game, let's get out here.
It was just, And
the doors
you and Jeff, hashed this over for a half hour yesterday. But I was not, again, to make clear, I was not there, so I'm only watching the rebroadcast of it. But I guess it was odd to see NDSU kind of stumbling around.
A little bit. Oh.
And odd, like the whole offsides, 4th and 9 offsides, delay of game with Tim still had 2 timeouts and he didn't call one. Yep. So then they backed up and kicked
made a harder field goal.
Yeah. And I didn't, but all of that said, I didn't understand that at all. The other stuff, you didn't want to give NDSU a break yesterday talking to Kolpak. To me, it's I wasn't alarmed at Illinois State. I just thought Illinois State had a really good plan coming out and they executed it, and Rittenhouse was fantastic. And NDSU's defense just couldn't get a third down stop. But a lot of that, I thought, had to do with what Illinois State was doing. Rittenhouse was he threw a couple passes whoa.
Yep.
And Sobkowitz was really good. And so I went, okay, once NDSU got in a rhythm and got on the field with their offense, it's okay, Illinois State's not stopping them.
They were not stopping them that night. Yep.
Southern Illinois, kind of the same thing. It's NDSU couldn't get off the field on third down, but their quarterback was making plays again. And Williams is running around, and it's okay. And they had the turnover. And so those games were people outside were oh, my God, NDSU. It's no, it's two allegedly top 10 teams. This game, I give them a break, even though you're Mr. Hard Arse on them. I mean, you're coming off two top 10 games.
I get it. Yep.
And so the way that Paulsek is, where it's like, bah! Those were two huge games.
He's going to be today.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
So you're in Terre Haute. There's 36 people in the stands to start the game. There's 6 in the stands to end the game. You've come off two really high energy games. You have the game of the year so far coming up next week. It's natural that you might come out and not be on a razor's edge against the Sycamores. Yeah. So I'm just not alarmed at all. If NDSU comes out this week and they're like, they give up 21, it's like, okay, then there's an issue.
You got something there.
But I'm just not that concerned.
Okay.
As somebody who watches the games and have seen NDSU play for 30 years now, I don't think it's that big of a deal if they struggled against Indiana State in the first half.
All right, so the standings here as we start this, week number 9 now coming up. Bison, remember, have the half game lead because they started conference play a week early with South Dakota. And then you have the Jacks and UND, and remember the Bison go, obviously, Mike, both those games are on the road. South Dakota is there. I think that's phantom. I don't know what the right word to describe.
Fool's gold.
Fool's gold is probably the best way to describe it because obviously we know what the Coyotes have left, and we again saw them lose by 100 up here in Fargo,
and we knew they were going to be 5-3.
Correct, with the 3 games they were playing.
And I wrote that in my column after the Coyotes game. It's like, this ain't the same outfit. Despite what others around, there's 5-3. It's like, it doesn't matter. No. I mean, we saw what they are. They've scrambled to beat a couple bad teams, and now they're in the meat of their schedule. We'll see what they are made of.
Scramble is right. They barely beat Indiana State, and they barely beat Northern Iowa the last 2 weeks. Then you've got Illinois State, SIU, and Youngstown in that cluster. So I guess my question to you out of this, as we sit here now on October 21, how many Valley teams are making the postseason in your mind?
I'll still say like 5.
I was going with 5.
Right? Yep. Because, I mean, look around. I mean, I don't need to say this to you, but just look around.
Yep.
I mean, the CAA, like, who's there?
It's Monmouth and Rhode Island. That's pretty much it, I would say.
And Rhode Island isn't very
Rhode
good
Island
because
got hammered by Brown.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And so, okay.
Yep.
I don't
know how good Monmouth is, honestly.
Lamar is 6-1.
And Lamar beat South Dakota.
No! Now, see what you're going to do there is have the people in the 605 going, see, they're not that bad.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
So the Southland's going to get what? 3?
2 probably, because Incarnate Word's not going to make it this year.
So the Big Sky is going to get
4 probably.
So you're.
I don't know.
You don't have enough teams.
I don't know who else is going to be the tournament. Can we put like 4 Ivy schools in?
Oh, yes. Oh, thank God.
The Ivy League's making it this year.
Thank God Harvard's going to make it this year. And it'll take up one at-large spot that would have gone to a really bad team.
Yes. I don't think your friends at Sacramento State are going to make it. So you've got the Montanas. You've got Davis.
Bobby Houck, by the way, just
ripping.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
It was pretty good. I enjoyed that thoroughly. I mean, we've done this dance the last couple of years when we talked about it, but I don't know who else you're going to fill out the tournament with.
No, and when you and Kolpak do your bracketology show, you're going to get down to the last 2 teams and go, I don't know. How about Shimtree University from Utah? I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
And it doesn't, it doesn't. Part of the issue, I get where people like, when it comes to South Dakota, people are saying, well, they can still make the play. Well, yeah, they can still make the playoffs, but call it arrogance, call it privilege, whatever, elitism. Like here in Fargo, it doesn't matter if you're a 7-5 team that makes the playoffs. Nobody cares because the standard here, as it is in Brookings and Montana State, is not to make the playoffs. It's to win the national championship.
Correct.
At least to get to the semifinals or the finals.
Right.
And so if you're a 7-5 South Dakota team that lost by 200 to North Dakota State, to make the playoffs, good. Travis Johansson, good for you. You can say in your resume, I made the playoffs. Okay, good. But that was not the standard for them going into the year.
No way. They were a top 5 team.
They were openly talking about this, and Aiden Bauman came back because he wanted to win a national championship. And so, whatever.
Chase Mason's status is, according to what Dan Jackson told John Gaskins yesterday, is day to day.
Yes. So is mine, by the way.
You watch the play. We showed it yesterday on the show, the touchdown run, and he goes right to the side. I don't know. I'm trying to play doctor on television, but something was clearly amiss as he's going into the end zone there on this play.
And I
don't know if it happened earlier, but clearly here there's something wrong with
he
him.
did not celebrate.
No.
That was the odd part to me. Is after I heard about the injury again, I was completely unplugged. But I went and watched the replay. And went, well, that's odd because I don't know if it came when he cut. I don't know. I don't know anything. The only people who know are at South Dakota State, and they're clearly not going to say anything. My guess is he's going to play. I'm sure he's fine. And I did watch the first half of the Murray State South Dakota State game.
Same thing with what the Bison did with Indiana State.
But the difference is that with their backup quarterback in, their offense just didn't even look anything like it's supposed to. I don't think. He's a young guy. He hadn't played.
Luke Marble's the name.
Luke Marble. He just hasn't played. So, and he threw a couple balls that you kind of went, whoa, that might get picked off, and one of them should have been. And so Chase Mason, he's really good, and brings mobility and a little experience. And so if he doesn't go, which again I'm just guessing he's going to play.
He's going to play.
Then that's a whole different thing. And Dan Jackson is closing practice, and NDSU's practices are always closed. So whatever. I don't know who he's closing practice to.
Yeah.
Our Matt Zimmer is the one guy that covers the team regularly.
Right.
Who else is going to show up?
Stopping by, yeah.
I don't know if the Sioux Falls TV stations send anybody up.
I don't think regularly for practice.
I think normally South Dakota State they do their thing by Zoom.
Right. Their media availability
and
later today.
You have to talk to Zimmer. I think he drives up once or twice a week, maybe. But anyway, practice is closed, so we can't see what's happening and whatever. It just doesn't matter.
What do we make of the environment Saturday night? Obviously, we've been down there. You've been down there way more than I have, but I can remember the 11, 13, 15, before it was still Coughlin alumni. The Bison fans would pack that place, and the Bison won regularly down there. And then when they transitioned to Dana J. Dykehouse, obviously the Jacks were getting better, and the crowds then, when the Bison could get into were limited, obviously, on that.
And South Dakota State now is selling out their games. I mean, they're at the point in terms of their fandom where North Dakota State was in 12,
I was
13,
going to say 10 years ago,
14, where it was still the biggest thing in the world.
Is that a thing? Can that be a factor, you think, in the game on Saturday night in terms of the crowd?
It's always tougher playing away from – I mean, if this game was in Fargo, I think NDSU would be a touchdown favorite. I still think NDSU is going to be I don't know again.
6?
Oh no.
No.
No,
5 point?
3.5.
Okay. All right.
2.5, 3.5 point favorite, I think.
Okay.
So it's essentially a toss-up game, but if it was in Fargo, it'd be 7-10, I think. And so the road games make a difference. But it's and South Dakota State, in part because they're good, they haven't lost I think since the 2019.
No, 2021. Northern Iowa beat them in 2021.
Yep.
But
and that was a lifetime ago.
Correct. It's 4 years ago.
It was a whole different team.
Gronowski was hurt that year, remember?
Yep, and South Dakota State wasn't. They just weren't what they are now or what they were.
And they still made the semifinals that year.
Right.
Remember that.
Right. But they've just been good. That's part of this whole thing with,
Yep.
There are those who believe that, North Dakota State's only won all these championships because they get home playoff games. Well, yeah, it's because they win all their regular season games.
Right.
And including road games. That's why they get the home games.
Yes.
South Dakota State since 22 has been really, really, flipping back and forth with NDSU as the one or two team in the country for the most part. And so they're winning all their games.
And I'll say before we go to break, Jimmy Rogers acknowledged after the regular season loss last year that knowing full well we're going to play him again, we're likely going to have to come to Fargo, which he was exactly right about that.
And I'll take this a step further this year. Like it was a year ago, this game, NDSU needs to beat either SDSU or UND.
I was saying that yesterday.
I think they're going to win the rest of their games.
Yes.
And UND is not that's going to be a very difficult game
Yep.
for NDSU to win up in Grand Forks this year. And so if you have to win one of the two to get a top 2 seed, I in my opinion, NDSU could win this game
and still
lose to UND and still get a top 2 seed at
11-1. And
with a road loss, as long as it's not 56-2
like
or something.
It was the last time the Bison played up there.
And so this game I think has a little extra weight, like it was last year.
Correct.
For this game, that whoever won that game was going to have the inside track. NDSU should have gone on to win the rest of their games. They blew the game in Vermilion, but UND has sort of replaced USD as that other team in the Valley, the third
throw that
team.
in, by the way, the Jackrabbits go to Grand Forks the final week of the season as well, which could throw another monkey into the wrench.
If you want to play all this out, which the football teams are not allowed to do because it's one game at a time, if NDSU wins this game on Saturday, or whoever, that game then between UND and NDSU or UND and SDSU is going to be
massive
huge for both of, because UND then at that point they could be looking at a top 2 or 3, or if UND runs the table, they could be the number one seed. Even with 2 losses.
Yes.
If you go undefeated in the
if
Valley.
Beating the Bison and the Jacks,
and they would probably deserve it.
All right, let's break. We come back. I want to talk, get Bison fans really freaked out, the coaching openings that are out there, because we're up to 10, I believe, in FBS football, and a couple interesting ones. We'll do that with Mike. We come back on Hot Mike on a rainy Tuesday after this. Welcome back, everybody. So before we left yesterday's show, we read the statement from Wisconsin AD Chris McIntosh. I don't know if you saw yesterday. He and the president of Wisconsin came out in support of Luke Fickell, which normally maybe is the kiss of death sometimes, at least in professional sports, when a GM or an owner says, we're behind the guy, and then 4 weeks later they axe him. What do we make of it sounds like Wisconsin is not going to move on Luke Fickell, even though they haven't scored in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, and they owe him a lot of money.
They do.
That may have something to do with it as well. And so it's, for the president to come out and say that if it's just the AD, it's like the president can tell the AD, just say something.
Yeah.
And we'll can him in 2 weeks. But when the president comes out and says, then it's all right. I don't know. You and I have talked about this. The obvious. Tim Polsek would be an obvious choice for that job someday, like an obvious choice, like so far beyond obvious that you'd have to be a moron to not hire him in the right circumstances for that job, because he is Mr. Wisconsin.
Yes,
all the connections. He could bring in one heck of a staff with his connections in college football. Great recruiter, great fundraiser, all these things. I just don't think, even if Wisconsin gets rid of Fickell, that jump from FCS to FBS is still just, it's only been done 1 or 2 times. And the one time that we know about, it's because
there's an inside connection
the AD and the coach were like tight.
Yeah.
And so I don't know that NDSU would have to worry about that.
Now,
and the other jobs that are open, I mean.
Colorado State interest you at all? Is that one?
Yeah, that one is an interesting job. I think the previous coach was getting paid like $1.9 million, which is a lot of money.
Jay Norvell was making almost $2 million.
A lot of money. Yeah. And I don't know if that's a place that would look at a guy like Tim Polsek.
Well, he certainly knows it from his time at Wyoming. Knows Fort Collins. We were talking about earlier with them moving. They're going to the Pac-10, whatever, Pac-12 next season.
We can do this all day long. I don't know. 2 years is an awfully quick turnaround. I mean, to come in and out, you never say never. Especially what happened, with Jimmy Rogers.
Right, Brookings is what I look at. Yep.
But I had been there. There were people in college football who told me, because Rogers could have gone, I think, after his first year. He was offered some bigger jobs.
About Florida Atlantic? Is
that
right?
I think Florida Atlantic, and I believe he was offered the D coordinator job from Fleck at Minnesota as well. Turned those down. I was told from people in college football, you don't want to be like a one and done guy, because that's a bad thing to have on your.
Yep.
But then I was told, wait till after this next year, and then just with everything going on and what they were losing to graduation and everything else, the quarterback was likely going to leave. Then it was made more sense for Jimmy Rogers to leave after the second year, and he did. Yep, which is fine. It doesn't matter. But Polsek, I don't know. 2 years and done?
It would be abrupt, but again, you never say never anymore in this sport. If something opens, right?
I agree.
If there's a job that gets the spidey sense, Colorado. When I saw Colorado, State,
Colorado State's like that's a good job.
Right,
I think everybody in the industry thinks that's like a really good job.
Yeah.
They just haven't met their expectations in Fort Collins. Brand new, not brand, 7-8-year-old stadium.
Yep.
Really nice facilities. It's Colorado. It's all of those things.
Yep.
Got
the radar
a good
off
job.
there.
And it's going to be a Pac-12 job.
Correct. Next year. Right.
As well. Not that means anything other than more money because they're going to have a better TV contract in the Mountain West.
That to me was the one that kind of had the radar going off, at least as of now. We'll see what happens over the next 6 weeks.
Obviously, Brent Vegan, his name is
out there too.
Has been connected or not connected. It's been
rumored,
offered as a possibility for Oregon State and Colorado State. I saw as well. His name was there.
And Veeks went through this whole thing last year. Veeks was probably, I think, what I was told was Washington State's top candidate. This time last year when the opening went to Rogers.
I was told even further that it could have been his job, but they wanted him to leave
sooner than later.
They wanted him to leave Montana State
prior to the
and he would not do that.
Yeah.
The other name, and it's way too soon because he's only been there for like 7 games, but Eric Schmidt in Grand Forks.
Yeah.
If with his connections, at the highest levels,
correct.
He was at Washington.
Washington, yes,
like the real Pac-12. He was at the real Pac-12. If they continue on this arc in Grand Forks, I know that he's a UND guy. I think his wife is from North Dakota. He's from Mandan. I know all of those things are true, but I mean, if UND runs the table in the Valley, and they get like the top seed, and they get to the championship game in FCS, and I'm getting way ahead of myself. Like that's a program that did extreme mediocrity for 20 years in FCS, and in like 6 months,
been really good.
I think he knows what he's doing.
Yep.
I think he knows what he's doing.
All right, we got to roll. Looking forward to the game on Saturday. Appreciate the time coming in, and we'll see you Saturday in Brookings. All right.
I'll see you later this afternoon.
Don't forget your laptop.
Oh, God. I forgot about that. Thanks for bringing that up. Last time I was down there, I forgot my laptop.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. I used Eric's to.
He bailed you out there after that.
Yes.
Have a great day. We'll see you later. All right. Mike McFeely joining us each and every Tuesday at 9:35. We'll break. We come back. We'll chat some North Dakota high school balls. The Class A playoffs begin this weekend. That's coming up. We start hour 2 right after this.